put back on this one. Going on, everybody. I figured, you know what? Hang out and let me turn this, turn off this. Just enough of the gaming. More of just hanging out and just chatting. I want to talk about. Most of the guys are asking, what do you think? What I think of PS5? I think it's all right. I mean, it's not much different than if you have a PS4. Really, just they haven't released any new games, so it's kind of nice to have like the new hardware. And if you like the new game, like the new Spider-Man game, you can play that game. But other than that, I mean, I don't think it's really worth it. I just got it because I said, you know what, it'll be the new toy to play with at the same time. For me, I'm looking to like be streaming and oh, what's the controller like? The controller's pretty nice. It's the controller. It looks fancy, feels nice. It's clicky. Got a built-in mic, which you have to read Sony's privacy policy about because they always keep it on, and you have to go into the settings to disable it. So there's that. But anyways, other than that, it's pretty much a new toy to play with that doesn't have really a function yet because there aren't any new games that are very exclusive to this. So it's just kind of nice. I mean, I had a PS4 Pro, and then I said, you know what, let me just upgrade to the PS5, and it's kind of nice because I'm kind of trying to do streaming a lot more. I went through a pretty rough breakup, and oh, this is you guys want to see, this is the controller. Can I show the PS5? If you search Hero Happens on the interwebs everywhere, you'll see some of my older videos where I did an unboxing of the PS5, and you can see it. But other than that, it's hooked up to the TV right now, so I can't really show you guys all that right now for the people that are watching. But yeah, so like I mean I start streaming now just to stream content and stay basically active, and just like I actually started streaming for those who don't know. I started streaming about a year ago. Yeah, it was pretty much a year ago. Maybe a year ago today. Goodness, if I go look at my old videos, I think I'll find out. But it could have been a year ago today, and I was streaming because my relationship was on the rocks. I was just so hurt that she was picking another guy over me. I want to do anything about it. Thanks to the people who are listening. Um. So, anyways, I was really hurt by it, and I thought that maybe if I streamed, because of my ex used to love watching me in general, and it was a long distance relationship. I figured that if I streamed, maybe she would tune in. I used to think that maybe if I stream, maybe like she'd want to watch. It'd show that she cares. And she didn't watch. She if anything she would um see that I was streaming. Oh, see that I'm online, and then just turn it off and go to bed, or just maybe skim through and be like, oh, okay, he's and that's it, and turn it off. It's just fair enough. Someone who just kind of watch. I mean, I think that's what happens when a person loses interest in somebody, especially she was my wife, and that's probably what hurts the most. Be in a relationship, decides to check out, for whatever reason, and whether or what. I don't want to get into this, so much today. I'll probably break down crying, but um, it was an experience. It was heart wrenching, and I remember I would be streaming, and I'd be listening to songs, and I'd be tearing up on stream. And yeah, and then I try to use whatever abilities I had to help people. So like I remember I would go and read articles, not articles, but I'd read posts about people who had relationship problems, and I'd be like, this is what you guys can do to solve it. And a lot of the answers were either communication and honesty, and that was the one thing I just wished my wife was do for me. Communication or honesty, I never got that. And then yeah, and then the relationship ended, and like it normally would, and it was just so long drawn out that it was a lot of hurt and a lot of, I don't know how I endured. And here we are a year later, and I'm still feeling it. But at least this time, I'm feeling it in a way that use this energy that I have in my life, put it towards streaming, or some creative way, writing, and that was um, that was my that was it. Yeah. So maybe I'll get into this more during the podcast on Sundays and things like that. But since it's just me today and it's just me hanging out, I thought maybe this entire stream today was a complete shit show with it just being full of technical problems. I guess it's kind of nice. This is probably the more of a stream. If I'm just gonna hang out and just me talking, then at least I'm here and this is me talking. Yeah, I remember my first stream, 2018, and I came online and I didn't know anything about streaming. I didn't know anything about how to get this camera set up or anything like that. And going through issues with my ex at the time, it was the same person. And I just needed someone to talk to, because for some reason I'd be talking to her and just like everything I was saying was going in one ear and out the other. I just wanted to be heard. And so I went online, I Twitch, and and I remember I um just started talking about how I felt. And wasn't really giving away any private details, but I just felt how I talked about how I felt so alone. And if only my wife, or she wasn't my wife at the time, girlfriend, I said, if only my spouse could understand um that all you have to do is communicate, be the other person, honest. And this is how I feel, and I wish you would understand that way, understand what I'm feeling. And I'm so glad that I did that, because at that time, um, I had, I guess I had more of a connection with her in the sense that she cared. So, she tuned in, and 3 people watched, and one person was like, "Is that a real background?" Or like, "What is this? Are you guys talking about relationships?" And they just kind of like came and left. And but I think I found out later, like, it was the other person that was there was my girlfriend, was my ex, and at the time, and he ended up saying something in the comments, and I'm like, "Oh, you're watching," and it was so kind of reassuring to see that, even in my down moments, that she was there to at least listen, even though she couldn't listen in person, but she decided to listen on a stream, and that was that. And then 1 year later after that, or maybe months later after that, I think it was a year after, I went through the breakup I did, and she was kind of drifting towards another man, and all that, and I was going through the heartache I was, and I went, and oh, thanks. um um I was going through the heartache that I was, and I started to stream, and it would have been really nice and really reassuring if she had tuned in and cared, but she didn't care. She didn't care. Probably the biggest the biggest game changer for me in terms of the relationship. It was just like, I was like, she's not there anymore. same person anymore. A bit too far gone, and truly so. I there were so many pieces of the puzzle that proved that she was dressing differently, a different person. She was. I meant nothing to her. Like she would spend maybe 5 minutes of her to talk to me, even though I would beg her, to, like, and tell her basically how I felt and what was going on. She just like, I don't have time. I'm tired. I gotta go sleep. I have to wake up early in the morning, and you know, and yeah, and she had like a flight. It was our first. It was our first holidays together. It was our first Christmas together, first New Year's together, and she had a flight booked 2 months in advance before she had started this new job where she met this new man. Um, and she was like, I'm gonna skip the flight. She skipped the flight, and because they had like I guess a work dinner where he was gonna be there, and she wanted to go, and she wanted to, remember asking her, like, do you want to be sexy tonight for them or something like that? She's like, yeah, I want to be. So she wanted to be sexy and stuff like that, and this was not in her nature. She was never like, but she was, and for this guy, for whatever reason, and she went, and she did that. And I remember the night she came back, she had never been to a club, but she went to a club with this guy, and this is all while she was married to me, mind you. She went, and then she came home, and I was just like, well, did you have fun? Like, I was still talking to her, trying to repair this relationship. And then I remember with the one, like, her lipstick was already gone. I don't know what happened between the two of them at the club, but and she said to me, you're worth zero to me. You're worth nothing. And I remember that night that she said that to me. And yeah, I mean, I think about it now, and I'm trying my best not to break into tears right now, but yeah, I remember. I just think the biggest heartbreaking thing about it was that, wow, what happened time that I wasn't there. It was a long distance relationship, and we were married for a month, and she went back home just to pack her things, and because it could take some time, for the paperwork to get started, because it's a long distance relationship. She lived in another, and she's like, you know what, I'm gonna just start like a temporary job in the meantime to keep myself busy. And she started this job, and within like less than a month, it was probably like 2 weeks time, probably a week or two's time, and she was over me. She was just done with me. She also was angry when she was on the phone to talk to me. She was always bitter. She just didn't like it. And it's just, how I think about it now, it puts me in a place of just like, feel like breaking down and crying. And I kind of like that I'm on stream right now sharing my feelings, and there's nobody here watching or listening. But it's nice to just kind of reminisce what happened a year. It's been a really, really, really has been. So yeah. Um so yeah, this year's pouring my heart out stream. Um and yeah. I mean, I'll probably get more into details, and I'll probably repeat a lot of this stuff in a podcast as we talk about the topics. But I think what really hits home right now is that this was my life 1 year ago today. The hardest part was just like, I'm okay with like breakups. Someone wants to break up. I'm okay with the idea if someone wants to leave the relationship. But it's just like the way you do it. Did you have to be so hurtful? That's 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 the most. And it's just like, I'm kind of glad that I married her, because if I didn't, I would have been thinking, okay, we were just boyfriend and girlfriend, and so she found someone else. That makes sense. But maybe if I had married her, maybe she would have had more reason to be faithful, more reason to be honest. Um, and so I was married to her for even more than a month or so, you know. And I'm sure maybe I was maybe a jerk or not nice, and maybe that's why she wanted to go find love from someone else. But you know, all I always asked for in the beginning was, give me communication, give me. We were there. We were like 95%. I feel like we were there, have this perfect relationship, and we needed communication. And I knew there was issues in the communications, and I just tried hard to fix it, and just didn't want to. And I just like, okay, like, you know, like when you're ready, we'll get there. And I was just so bitter that we didn't have it, and when it was a basic thing that needed to be there, and just what's going on. And instead of communicating, she decided to check out someone else. And that someone else that you would like to think that, okay, if she moves on to someone else, that um that you know, they'll be happily ever after. But no, I warned her. I was like, this guy's, he's just there to play you. He, like, you know, he knows that you're, you know, you're a pretty girl and you just got married, and you know, they're just trying to poke and see if they can, you know, they can make a mess, which is essentially it. You know, just to be like, oh, you know, let me see how faithful she is. And it's just, and in the end, we're like I questioned her. I was like, well, what'd you get? Are you happy with the result? No, is this person gonna marry you in the end? They're gonna take you seriously in the end? I doubt that. Well, they play with you most likely. And so yeah, so I'm sure she has her regrets, but it's just, the worst part is I worth nothing, you know? So yeah, that this stream is turning into a journal, right? uh Anyways, this is all stuff that I want to save for my memoirs and my, just, I don't know, I guess today I just feel like share it, you know? So yeah, a year ago, and had absolutely no support from her whatsoever. No support. Begged and cried, and just spend the holidays together. Just let's plan New Year's together. Just come. And no, she did not. And months rolled by, and then even for Valentine's Day, I mean, I around Valentine's Day, I went there one as a chance to try and save this relationship, and she was a completely different, and I saw that in person, you know, and yeah, yeah, I saw that in person. What else? I think one of the most hurtful things I remember experiences were like one of my last memories of meeting her in person. We went for dinner, and I was just stuck in lost memories, past memories, happy, tearing up and crying at the dinner table. Not crying, but like the tears were there, and I was she asked me to leave the table because it was embarrassing. That's not something that she would have done before, but like something that she would do now. Like, if you could never imagine that someone could ever do that to you, um, I mean, I experienced that. You know, you're with someone, you marry someone. No matter what happens, there's like a limit to like how mad they would be or how hurtful they would be. But no, this just, it just kept getting lower and lower from her, and I was just like, wow, I could literally be killed right in front of her, and she would blink, and she, oh, how selfish. I wish I never. I say the, I look back, feel the pain. Not from me. So yeah. So, anyways, happy Diwali to everybody who's just past midnight. Like 12:45 here in time zone. And yeah, no, yeah. If you're in a relationship out there, I gotta say, be there for the other person. There. I mean, I hope whoever you guys are out there, the relationship never gets filled such malice from the other person. Just I don't know. I don't know. I did what she did to me. So many ways that she could have got it. She literally could have just ended the relationship and moved on, but it was like because it wasn't confirmed between her and the other guy, she wanted to make sure that I was taken along for the ride, just in case he's not ready. That is so hurtful. So hurtful. Just to be dragged along for your own selfish need. Because you don't have the guts to go be alone, decide, like whether you want this or that. So you're trying to get both just because you're so selfish. That's probably the worst. Um Anyways, I think I'm getting a little bit too much into this journal memoir thing. But for the people that want to know what went on in my life, here you go. Everybody who's watching. Ah, ah. Guess I'll end the stream here, and everybody who's in the chat. Ah, I don't know why I just kind of stream at times like this. Maybe because even though not much happening. I don't know. Someone that's learning from my experiences, talking about what I went through. You're out there. You don't have to. You can be saved. You can save your relationship. Getting the saved it. Maybe. Maybe if I had more doubts about her, maybe trusted her so blindly. Get hurt. Someone who's not even negative or negative towards, just like they just word is. I know it's not belligerent. More in the terms of malice. There, they just want you to get hurt. I don't even know. It's just it stems from selfishness. I don't know, for their own selfish need, they want to pick what's right for them and it's best for them. And I know I get it. You dodged a bullet. You really did. You dodged a bullet by not being with this, by ending the relationship and ending being there. I never saw that coming. So anyways, uh go play some games. I don't feel like playing games. I don't feel like playing any video games right now. I feel like I just feel crying. Anyways, maybe I'll end the stream here. Thanks to everyone who's listening. Crying? No, 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 not crying. Um, just feeling a little down, you know. And it's okay, and I kind of it's kind of nice to feel down sometimes. Um, just to kind of get in touch. Yeah, just to kind of get in touch with how I'm feeling right now. You know, you can't. Sometimes there's happiness and there's ups and there's downs, and just I'd like to just kind of reflect on that, remember where I came and what I've been through. You know, and just to be thankful for the good things and the bad things. Not because it's made me tougher or it's made me um, hard lessons or anything like that, but because thankful for it because it allowed me to feel something, learn something from it, and not to get tougher. I mean, if anything, I'll work on myself to get myself softer. Where I feel more, and I think this entire process helps me understand people better, understand people's pain even. And I think any experience in my life that I've learned, and even though I might be able to understand it kind of intellectually or from somebody else's experience and them talking about it, I'm like, oh, but then when I have to get put in that position, which is a hurtful place to be, and it hurts so much. You understand a bit more. I wouldn't say that I've understood it better. I understand from a different perspective, and yeah, it is about relationships, about the relationship I went through, and it about a year ago, and I'm just kind of talking about um where I was and how I was feeling 1 year ago, and thinking about it. So that's all it is, you know. And so anyway, um, in the stream. Yeah, thanks to everybody who tuned in. Happy Diwali to everybody. Um, kind of glad I came on the stream today, and yeah, we all go through it. We do. And maybe if I had gone through this kind of a relationship and a breakup early on, maybe it would have been easier. I don't think it would have been, because one thing I do believe in is, you know, we go through our experiences, but I don't believe in making myself tougher, stronger. No, I believe in take the hits but get softer. And where these hits, where these pain comes from, the hurt comes from. Understand who's doing it, and why it's coming, and what can you do to save whoever it is that's in front of you, or to save anybody else that might be going through the same kind of situation. That's what I wanted to say about it. Um, yeah. So that's my stream, everybody. The first half of the stream was absolute garbage with technical difficulties, video gaming, but at the end, sit and chat and talk about it. Thanks to everybody who's listened. Thanks for all the hearts and everything. And it's nice to kind of talk like this on my own, because um, usually when I do a podcast or I'm talking, I'm usually trying to focus on them and their experience and let them speak. So I guess when it's just me kind of sitting and talking, chatting. So yeah, stay on. If I stay on, I think I'm gonna start crying. Huh? And is that gonna entertain you guys? Because I will. If it cries and it entertains you guys, makes you guys feel better, then by all means. But um, I don't like crying. Into this really. Hey, what's going on? Love Neil, what's up? I was just hanging out. Hey, Paducci's, what's going on, man? Hanging out. What's going on? You guys going on? Thanks for joining the stream. I was just about to end the stream. I did some gaming and then I just kind of chilled and just kind of sat and talked and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Talked about life and on the chat kind of send hearts and ask me to kind of elaborate on the relationship and what's going on in my life. Thanks. So yeah. So anyway, so that was pretty much it. Anyways, I think I'm gonna end the stream here. Okay, see ya. Um. Ah. Tune in, everybody.